Hello and welcome to another Let's Play of Eldfall Chronicles. Please excuse my pause, but real life happened, but hopefully I will be able to post more videos in the next time. But let's jump right into the second part of the Tomb of the Ancients. Starting with the narrative, pursuing Chiyohime, I still butchering the name, you slip beneath the towering temple doors into a shadowed corridor and are met with an ancient chill, the air thick with dust. In the dim light you see them again, Oni, their massive forms bound in bronze chains along the walls, binding sutras and sigils are ensuring these cursed beings remain imprisoned. Further ahead, the stone bears the worn murals of a tale long forgotten. Among the sacred iconography is a depiction of the divine god of Akashigami no Mikoto, god of war and blood. Below his throne, countless asuras are shown assembled, generals in service of their ruthless lord. However, beside the throne stands a lone feminine figure, distinct from the others. Her posture is upright, her presence commanding, marked by quiet, unwavering devotion. At last, the corridor opens into a quiet chamber. Against the far wall, a modest shrine stands in solemn repose. Its quiet elegance a stark contrast to the cursed hall behind. So, as you can see here, Inner Sanctum, Ancient Warrior Osaru, Entrance, Encounter 1, and the Arcane Reliquary. We have placed the tiles, as you can see here. We have placed the heroes at the entrance, and Encounter 1 and Profane Miasma environment tones are indicated as layout. Miasma is only there, so we have done that too. Next, Subterranean Grounds, Chaos deck. Remove weather cards from the Chaos deck. I already did that, which also means that this stingy card isn't in play this time, which is really nice. And the quest ends when specified. So, with this, let's start in the first turn of the heroes. I will start by choosing Sagan, but before that, let me just turn around all the activation tokens. And I hope that I will not make too many mistakes after my long pause, but let's see. Okay, Sagan activates first. First movement activating Encounter Token 1. Chiyohime's elegant form is outlined by the flickering light within the small shrine. Through the parted screens, a violet shard trembles in the air, its surface quaking as fractured spiders across its form. Anari, what is this doing? What is this doing here? That is an elder shard. Even a single fragment holds a sliver of an elder's essence. We must tread carefully. Such a shard never lies dormant. It calls to the void. Its presence a beacon that stirs the auras lurking. A voice cold and commanding cuts through the chamber. Halt, mortals, the horned demoness intones, her words echoing in the still air. Heed my words and heed your way. For to persist is to bring ruin upon all you hold dear. She gestures towards the shard, and a heavy weight of its energy presses upon you. An abomination wrought of void and mortal flesh claws at the rift between our realms, seeking to claim this shard and devour its power. Should that come pass without my interference, a false god, an elder, shall be reborn, and a great scourge shall fall upon this world. Her eyes narrow, her voice darkening as she steps forward. I require the shard as a conduit, yet if you are set upon defiance, I shall shatter it to unleash its essence. You would not survive contact with a relic this raw for but a few fleeting moments. A fragment of an elder's soul would gnaw at your very sanity until nothing is left. Yes, I shall be lost for a time, yet, as is the fate of my kin, I shall return to carry out my quest anew, but you shall be devoured by the nightmares that spill forth, consumed by horrors born of the void. The ground trembles, the chamber filled with a deep rhythmic thundering, as through something vast and unseen stirs above. Place Chiyohime at 3. As previously, since I wasn't able to paint it, it will be once again the Vizier. So when she's placed at 3, here she is. And 2 Bone Walkers. Here we have them, are placed at 1 and 2. So here they are. Okay, with all this, fate checks. Fate Green P. I do not have it. Simulates the abundant. Okay. Red L I do not have. C I do have. Green J. Ignore any roll of 15 or more. Okay, I will do that. Fade red X, I do not have that. Okay. So let's result when Timus incapitates process to the ending. If you have called in get ally in this quest, reach the I do not have. If Timus falls below 5, she will attempt to shatter the Elder Shards stored within the Arcane Reliquary. At the start of every hostile turn, she makes an intelligence roll. On success, the Elder Shard is broken and every model in the field suffers 3 hits with power 20, burn 3, and ignore armor. This happens once only. You can prevent her from doing so if a hero is present in the on the Arcane Reliquary space, but the heroes suffer 2 wounds. Alternatively, you may attempt to seal the shrine and negate this twist. So, quest rules: Unstable Land. Chiyohime cards to the Chaos deck, I already added that. When drawing Chaos cards, draw 2 and resolve both. Conjuring 15 or higher is ignored. All hosts have +3 offense, like that. 3 offense, defense, accuracy, and hit points. If the Arcane Hero cannot shatter the Elder Shard, a hero can seal the Arcane Reliquary by performing Interact on the same space, suffering 2 wounds and 2 weak points, and removing a legendary item. That should be possible. Instead of suffering 2 wounds and 2 weak points, a hero may enshrine Nekomata or Komainu as a tutorial deity, remove the model and discard the corresponding upgrade card. I have Komainu, I have Nekomata, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 legendary items. So basically I have 3 heroes who can do the sealing. Theros can do nothing in this regard, but I think I will attempt to do that. So with this, that was Sagan's first. The Arcane Reliquary is here. And let me just, before I start, see what the Profane Miasma does. Once again, Profane Miasma is here. No range attack through from outside, range attack -3. If a model comes in contact with it, it receives a weak point. If a model inside contact at the end of an aggression, suffers 10, ignoring armor, weakening. Profane model ignore. Okay. So, part 10, ignore weakening. Okay, only profane models ignore it. It is not a profane attack itself. I was thinking about maybe having here the warding pellet as a resistance. But with this, that was Sagan's first activation. And since Sagan has the esoteric scroll of condemnation, all rare becomes charged of all hostile behavior. All enemies must reroll successful damage rolls against the wearer. So, before I start, strategic phase, totally forgot. She would have Spectre side to gain advantage against undead, as previously always. So, Sagan 1, 2, 3, 4, he runs up. Next, he will, I'm looking at the ceiling here. 2 wounds and 2 weak points, and removing a legendary item from the inventory as a blood right offering. Instead of having 2 wounds and 2 weak points, you may enshrine Nekomata and Komainu. So they, one way or another, they have to sacrifice a legendary item. So basically, only Sagan and Anari can do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the hostiles will react to it, or they try at least. The Bone Roll cost reaction card only specifies once they line of sight and melee range, target of attack, and that's both not the case. But Chiyohime is allowed to activate, because in her activation card, activated model and enemy within melee, line of sight within enemy 8, Leeching Bolt. So, let's once again, it's in the cast, in the spellbook, right at the end, where we have the Necromancy. Here we are. Let's see what she does with the Leeching Bolt. 1 attack, 5 spaces. Let's see. She has an intelligence of 17, With a 5 she hits. Sagan didn't use his activation to dodge, therefore power 70, half because of the warding pelt, it's down to 8.5, rounded up to 9. 13 is not successful, and Sagan can continue from, I think this is his 12th. Yeah, 22, sorry, 22. He gets another weak point. And I think I was counting here up. I think I was counting up 21 he already has. And now it's 22. I think this was my notation for this. Let's say he has 22 weak points. Because of the Hanya, it doesn't matter at all. So, next. This was Sagan's first activation. And do I want to try and seal it immediately? Sagan has currently 2 wound points. He has a total of 4 wounds. The Magatama provides him with 5 wounds in total. So Sagan could go 1, 2, 3, 4, going up to here. And with his ranger ability, he could go right into there, but would receive a wound. Before Sagan activates, let's go with Nara, 1, 2, 3, 4, movement here, and she will cast the second chance spell, 2 die onto Sagan, and she has the Vitalist class, therefore she do not have to roll. Sagan gets 2 hit points back and is back to his full 5 hit points with this. Next, I will go with Anari, 1, 2. She will cast Melting Touch onto Sagan to give him Ignore Armor and Burn, and Arcane Step activates. Next, she will... What will she do? I'm just looking at why are there 4 and 5. I'm skeptical. 3, 1, and 2. And hostiles on 2 to the west and east adjacent space. Whichever is closest to the hero. 2 is here. Okay. I believe from there should come the undead. Anari will do next. Go 1, 2, cast Melting Touch on Nara and goes onto space 2. And now Chiyohime still has 2 activation points from her 3 left. So, but she will only react to Sagan because of her esoteric scroll. Therefore, it doesn't matter if Nara activates now next after Sagan, because she is unable to. Sagan is unable to reduce her to 0 activation points. So, but Nara will get benefits if Sagan is next to her. Therefore, Sagan moves 1, 2, attacks her in close combat. In close combat, she will attack with her Corroding Embrace spell. And Corroding Embrace spell, Armor Piercing, Poison, Sweep 2, and Strike 1 with power 14. Strike 1 with her Intelligence of 17, it's a natural 20, and she is a sorcerer which only allows her to do it in her own turn, and Sagan would have reduced her, because of Masterful Parry, down to 14. Does Masterful Parry affect intelligence? I'm not sure. That's why let's have a look. Target melee attack suffers a -3. Yeah, since it is a melee attack, it would also have affected her. So instead of 17, it would have been 14. And now Sagan is allowed to make 2 strikes. And he is an Ranger Sentinel, so 2 strikes for Sagan. He is boosted, therefore 19 or less, 17 and a natural 1. These are 2 hits. He has a total power of 15 minus the armor is ignored, sorry. Therefore 15 is 1 wound. The burn quality is enough to put a third one onto it. So with this we have 2 wounds already. I'm just thinking that I hope that I do not forget anything. And now Sagan is allowed to make a follow-up with finishing strike. With an 8 it is a hit. With an 11 it is another wound, which means there is a burn. With an 18 this is not a burn. And then Theros is allowed to make an attack because of his sequential assault. He uses his Thanian crossbow and assassination 1 to increase his power by 6. With a 15 rolled, he has a total or accuracy of 18 because she's within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. That's a hit. Power 19 minus armor 3. 16 or less to wound. With a 15, this is another wound. And does any of them have cleave? No, Sagan has bleed, which is good to know. Where is the bleed token? I think I have put it away. I have to remember that. Okay. Exploiting weak points. Okay, weak points are not used. Not quite correct. She gets 2 weak points because of the 2 failed wounds. And a total of 4 wounds already. So giving her 2 weak points and a total of 4 wounds. And that was Sagan's activation and Nara activated once and a Nara activated twice. Okay, and now I will activate Nara 1, 2, going up to here. Excuse me. Nara will also attack. And Chiyohime will not react. Nara will use her claws, or more precisely her reinforced claws, which means she has 2 strikes at offense because she's in the same engagement as Sagan at an offense 19. 4 and 15, these are 2 hits. She has a total power of 15 thanks to her claws. Therefore, she's melting touch 15 or less to wound. 2 wounds from the claws, which means 2 burns. 7 and 18, this 18 does nothing, but these are 3 additional wounds, which falls below 5. For these 3 additional wounds, 1, 2, 3, put her down to 7, which is beneath it. She will attempt to shatter the Eldfall stored within the arcane. At the start of every hostile turn, she makes an intelligence roll and success. Okay, here we have that. And now, but the hero suffers you may attempt to see the I read this one as only relevant as long as she's still standing or is able to activate. Therefore, 1, 2, 3 spaces with Theros, who once again uses his Thanian crossbow to attack Chiyohime. And with a 16, he hits. 18 was the score. She will only react to Sagan because of the Alteric Scroll of Condemnation. Power 19, minus armor 3, 16 or less. With a 10, it's an 8th wound, and with this, Chiyohime is defeated. 1 turn. Just checking. She will attempt to shatter the stored at the start of every hostile turn, which doesn't happen. She's out of there, so no. Just no. The quest ends when specified. Result when she will proceed to the ending, which is the case. Okay. Intact. Only focused her down. Let's see what happens. Chiyohime crumbles to the ground, her strength waning. To have understated you, my greatest folly, she murmurs, a faint bitter smile on her lips. Yet I shall return, and the curse shall be undone. For a moment her gaze softens, a flicker of something almost mortal. Please take the elder shard, carry it far away, lest the spawn reaches it. With the last of her strength she flickers her fingers, and the shard lands in your grasp. Her breath grows shallow as she looks up at you one final time. Now, I bid you, grant me my final mercy. If Chiyohime has not shattered the shard, receive the Elder Shard legendary item. Continue to campaign ending. Okay, I will look at the Elder Shard legendary item, and then we will go with the campaign ending. I'm quite curious. Let me clean the board, and we will see what happens. I have the feeling that we are not quite done. I haven't read it so far. Here are the heroes, a little final screenshot. Let's see what campaign endings we have. Chiyohime defeat, divine descent prevented. You have defeated your foe, and not a moment too soon. Amidst the rubble, Chiyohime lies defeated, wounded, but not yet dead. As the bloodlust begins to subside, you take a moment to steady yourself, your breath erect, but your mind sharp. Before you lies a decision of great consequence, one that will not only define this battle, but might reshape the very fabric of the world. These will be your final choices. How will you choose to end this? Extinguish the threat. Honor your opponent, deliver the final blow, and end Chiyohime's current life. If you choose this, read Chiyohime defeated A. Subdue and force her to use her power for your bidding. A formidable power remains a valuable resource even in defeat. Bend this formidable being to your will, using her talents as a tool. At least 2 dark heroes in the party. If you choose this, B. Bring her to justice, refuse to act as a judge and executioner, instead capture Chiyohime and deliver her to face the justice of the civilized world. 2 light heroes in the party. I had the chance, but sadly I didn't choose these. If you choose this, read C. Okay, I do not have that, so therefore I have to read the A part. Continue to campaign endings and read the corresponding Chiyohime defeat entry. You have stopped Chiyohime and disrupted her ritual, neutralizing the immediate threat. However, the lingering evil of her deeds still taints the mountains. There may yet be a way to confront these lingering corruptions and begin to right some of the many wrongs the sorceress has wrought. So, A at 107. Sorry. You see the helpless form of Chiyohime before you as she raises her weary eyes to meet yours. Chiyohime, you have undone centuries of toil, centuries spent strive to mend an unjust fate, one far worse than death. Your blind tenacity has cost me all that I have, and so you may as well see it finished. She lowers her head, her voice heavy with resignation. Steel yourself, you prepare for the final stroke. A moment of silence hangs in the air, heavy and still, before it is abruptly shattered by the sound of a swift final blow. The head of the serpent has been severed, but in its wake devastation lingers. Receive Fate Violet O, return back to campaign endings and continue reading. So, Fate Violet O. To sustain her ritual, Chiyohime tore open a rupture into the void, that chaotic plane between material worlds. The force of its creation split the mountain in twain, and with each soul fed to its death, the fissure widens, fueling the profane energy that keeps it open. This tea remains active, spilling forth eldritch horrors and saturating the mountain and its surrounding lands with corrupting mana. Like a spreading blight, the chain seeps into the earth, threatening to engulf the land in darkness and unleash void-born terrors upon the world. The choice before you is clear. Attempt to close the rift now, or leave it to those better prepared to bear consequences. Use Chiyohime's power to harness the bound, forcing you requires Fate D. I do not have that. I have only the red F. Accept Aomaru's covenant and assist in closing a rift. Join forces with Aomaru to weave a powerful ritual, combining his ancient knowledge with his arcane prowess of your party to see the rift. Fate H I do Green H I do not have. Make a valiant sacrifice. The hero must step into the rift, carrying the sun mirror into the into the void. Its radiant can destroy the portal from within, but at the cost of the hero now returning. Requires a Sun Mirror item. I have that, but I have it not equipped. So I think that I cannot do that. At least one non-hero, okay. Leave this house to another. Turn away from others more prepared, willing to bear the burden of closing the rift. You do not close the rift. I have the Sun Mirror in my inventory. I do not know if I can use it if it's in my camp, because it's not equipped. On the other hand, I finished this encounter. Siege campaign ends, read the corresponding closing the rift entry. 108 to 109. Okay, these are here. I have it in my camp. From the narrative point of view, I will say that my heroes are allowed to go back to the camp, receive the mirror, and go right into the rift, because there's no time pressure right now. And I assume that you cannot access anything from the camp while you're on quest, is because there's imminent threat. And I don't see from the narrative point of view that here's an imminent threat. So, who will sacrifice? Theros? Nah, I don't think Theros would be the kind of guy who would sacrifice him. I view him more as a neutral. Anari? Potentially. Nera? Also potentially, but I think I like her way better. And for the sake of, because these two are lovers bound, I think I will give Sagan the honor. Because Sagan, with his backstory, he was cast out and did nevertheless everything for his country. I think for Sagan it would be fitting. So, and since Sagan is a non-dark character, and the most lawful, I imagine, Sagan will make a valiant sacrifice. He will step into the rift carrying the Sun Mirror into the void and destroy the portal from within. So, I would go with C. Sagan, thank you for your duty. You were the anchor of my party. But previously, he will unequip all of these. So, make a valiant sacrifice. Whichever is C. Okay. With a final glaze and a bittersweet smile, you step forward, the divine mirror clutched tightly in your grasp. It pulses with a soft, steady glow, a lone beacon of an endless dark. There is no doubt in your mind, this is the right choice. You feel no fear, no regret. Without hesitation, you stride into the rift. Fittingly, since Sagan is fearless, the swirling mana engulfs you, distorting the world beyond. The silhouettes of your companions blur, their forms fading into the rippling void. You try to focus on them one last time, but already they feel impossible distance, then all is silence. There is no ground beneath you, no sky above. You are floating, adrift in an expanse, bathed in shifting hues of cerulean and violet. Here, there are no shadows, no clear sense of up or down. The space stretches for what seems like an eternity. Then, movement far above, or is it below? A waist figure glides through the silence, a leviathan of the void. Its elongated body drifts effortlessly through the strange realm. 6 great wings, translucent and shimmering like stars, fan out from its form. Their slow, rhythmic, undulating, stirring the crackling mana around you. The being releases a deep, resonant hum. In your hand lies the divine mirror, its light brighter than you remember. Terror claws at your mind, but you refuse to yield. You recall your dearest memories one last time, anchor your resolve, and with a steady breath, you shatter the mirror between your hands, unleashing its divine force. A blinding white flash erupts from the rift, tearing through the sky. For a fleeting moment, the mountain's shape is illuminated for leagues, its silhouettes burned into the horizon. When the light fades, the rift is gone, seared completely. The gash, in reality, has been mended. The flow of otherworldly horrors is halted. The sky, once marred by unnatural hues, begins to return to its rightful state. The land, thought through wounded, has been granted a chance to heal, and the one who made it possible is gone. Receive fate S, so O and Fs. Return back to campaign and continue reading. You have closed the rift. Campaign ending, closing the rift, vanquishing the rift spawn. You have closed the rift. Chiyohime defeated. A, B, C, D. Cleansing the land. Okay, this is just what I have done, sorry. Brain fart. Okay, optional, vanquishing the rift spawn. I have the rift spawn expansion. You might have to proceed to the final calamity. I will do not that because since I also skipped the goblin expansion, since I have it but I do not have painted the miniatures, I will skip this one. Your task is complete. You prepare the rift spawn summoned through Chiyohime's ritual, meant to serve as a vessel, a red god, not roams the mountains, summoned seeking escape, a calamity alone. Okay, and also this is not fitting because I just closed the rift. If you do not have the expansion, slaying the beast was never your mission. If you do not have the expansion, let's go with this. Slaying the beast was never your mission. Variant 1, you turn away from the battle knowing you need rest. Retracing your steps down the winding mountain path, you may back to the civilization layer shard. In your possession soon, it will be delivered to the guild and your own. Okay, let's read it the whole. Task the one Asano entrusted to you is complete. Yet peril longer still. The rift spawn summoned through Chiyohime's ritual was meant to serve as a vessel for the red god Akashigami. Now it roams the mountain's summit, seeking escape and calamity. Alone, it is the dire threat, and the northern reaches of lie unguarded, the people defenseless in the wake of the Oni attacks. Worse yet, you bear the Elder Shroud, a very lure that calls the creature forth. It must not fall into its grasp. Should it claim the shard, an elder, a half-god, may be born, its mind twisted by dark miasma and the endless hunger for forbidden knowledge. It will is unknowledgeable, its present a disturbance beyond mortal comprehension. Now, knowing its whereabouts, you must choose, confront the monstrous foe or leave the task to another. The choice is yours, but the consequence will be far-reaching. As I said, I will just pretend that I do not have it. So I will leave it up to someone else. And also, second, the anchor of my party is gone. So, nope, I will go to the guild, give them the chart, and it's another person's problem, most likely. Cleansing the land. The mountain is steeped in the profane manna and corruption unleashed by Chiyohime. The malevolent energy reanimates the long dead, spread blight, and gives rise to twisted tainted beings. Until it is purged, the people cannot return, and the suffering will only deepen as more shrines and temples succumb to corruption. Cleansing the mountain is no small feat, but the choice is yours. Take on this burden yourself or leave it to another, perhaps one better suited from them. Entrust Kogetsu to purify the mountains? You may choose this only if you have fate. Oh, I do have it. And Kogetsu as an ally alive. I have this. Chiyohime to spell her own corruption in exchange for mercy. I already killed her, so no. And also I do not have fate. Why? And then take the cleansing yourself. You may only choose it if you have Kagura Zusu and at least 2 light heroes. I do not have that. And leave the corruption for another to handle. This task is monumental, yet you are not the one to see it through. You turn away, leaving the cleansing from one to those with the time, knowledge, and resource to deal with it. This is out, so basically A or D. I got Fate O from where did I get it? Fate O? From Chiyohime defeated. So I will go with entrust Kogetsu to purify the mountains, since I have him as an ally, and he is still alive. And as I said, I received Fate O. Okay, continue to endings and read the corresponding Cleanse of the Land 109 to 110, and it is A. As you gaze down from the summit through the gaping rupture of the mountains, the extent of the corruption becomes painfully clear. What was once a lush and beautiful mountainous region now lies drained, desolate, and plague-ridden. The scars of Chiyohime's action etched deep into the land. Kogetsu steps up beside you, silently taking in the same bleak vista. For a moment he speaks. The land is wounded, yet not beyond salvation. What was lush is now barren, what was whole is now fractured, yet all things may return to harmony in time. Through your deeds, hope has not perished, it has merely been entrusted to new hands. He hands you a sealed letter and continues, his voice steady and resolute. Deliver this to any temple of Rishinkyo. It is a call for the monasteries together to lend their strength and restoring this land. I shall remain upon this mountain, atoning for my past sins and seeking refuge in the true world. These valleys shall know peace once more, freed from the blight. His words carry the weight of unshaken purpose. You not, understanding the burden he has chosen to bear. As you turn to leave, you glaze back one final time, knowing that while scars remain, the land is not lost. With renewed resolve, you begin your descent, bearing witness to both ruin and the promise of renewal. Receive Fate Green G. Return to the campaign and continue reading. Puzzle together the campaign endings you have obtained. Go to page 111. Okay, this is the moment where I will get all the Fate tokens to have one long line of Fate tokens here. And then we will, as instructed, go to page 111. So, see you in a bit. Okay, I also reshuffled the Fate token to get them from here over here, because I think this is a more fitting final view. The remaining 3 heroes with all their gathered Fate tokens. And now let's see. Page 111. As your party prepares to cross the pass and leave this war-torn region behind, you take one final look at Mount Byodo. Its split peak now bathed in the golden light of morning. The snow beneath your boots glistens, and for the first time of what feels like an eternity, the air carries a sense of closure. The land bears its scars as you do, but you have accomplished more than any mortal could have been expected to. Against all odds, you were triumphant. You turn from the sight of your past ordeals, setting your gaze forward. What now? Word of what transpired here must be carried beyond these mountains. Perhaps the guild will pay well for such knowledge. Or at the very least, they should know what has been unleashed and what has been kept at bay. Familiar faces drift to mind, Asano and the others you left behind. Would they recognize you after all you have endured? Would you recognize yourself? Yet you are grateful for those who walked to this path beside you, for the bonds forged in fire and shadow. Such ties do not break easily. For no, the road ahead leads to well-earned rest, but beyond that, new horizons await, and the journey is far from over. You have reached the conclusion of a Northern Wind journey. Reflect on the choices you made and the challenges you overcame. Determine which of the campaign endings you obtained. You can record your campaign results on page 1. Okay, so yeah, I have done that. Chiyohime defeat, closing the rift, cleansing the land. The end. What is it on page 157? Let me see what is there. And it is here. Okay, save game notes. Northern Wind records, notes, journal, and Wayfinder's Guide. Okay, I think that I have got a good ending. Let's see what the end says. The mass surge of raw breeds, demons once thought to be remnants of a forgotten age, a whisper and whispers of a descending divine cannot be ignored. These omens herald a turning point, a threat beyond mere mortal reckoning. Such things were deemed impossible until now. The answers lie beyond the Empire's border, in the fabled Grand Library, where centuries of wisdom are seared within ancient tombs, where the forgotten past may yet unveil the path forward. If salvation or reckoning is to be found, it must begin there. A new journey awaits, and the next chronicle is yours to write. So, with this, I think I have quite a good ending. I was expecting to... okay, here's the final calamity, which would have been played once the rift spawn would have been there. And just curious, okay, Secret Lords. After here, we do not gain any more fate token. Okay, so with all this, thank you for participating in my journey through the Northern Wind quests and campaign. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I see you the next time. Bye!